Hi guys, it's Elisa at Moat Cottage. Today we're making quince cheese. Quince is an old variety of fruit. It's sort of like a pear and it's furry like a peach. But you can't eat most varieties straight from the tree. You have to turn them into some sort of a preserve. And that's why we make either quince jelly, paste, or in this case, cheese. Mixing is the most time-consuming part in making the cheese. It's just like making a jam. So let's take a look at how I got to this point. I'm able to get quince locally because they grow on all the old farms. They tolerate neglect and drought, so the ones that were planted many years ago are still growing. When you're washing your quince, you want to rub all the fur off, so you have to give it a good rub. Remove the cores, and the easiest way to do this I've found is to cut your quince into eighths. The core is quite fibrous, so it's a little bit dangerous to get out. It's not easy like an apple or a pear. So if you cut it into eighths, it's easier to get that core out because you're using the flat of the fruit when you're cutting it. To your heavy base saucepan, add some boiling water, your quince and 1 lemon. I squeeze the juice in and then just throw the skins in. This stops the quince from going brown and gives it a bit of flavour. Make sure your boiling water is 1 inch over the top of the quince. Let that boil and cook until it's soft. And the quince is ready. Next, take your lemons out and discard them. And then remove the fruit into a bowl so that it can cool down a little bit, ready for blending. Now that the fruit's cooled down a bit, we can blend it up. Add back into your empty heavy base saucepan 1 cup of the fruit quince, pureed, to 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Continue doing this until all the fruit's used up. Mix it on a low heat and keep mixing until it comes away from the sides. It takes a little while, so you'll have to be patient. But keep stirring because you don't want to burn or overcook it. Occasionally scrape down the sides and keep that all mixed in. It took me 35 minutes of stirring this time, but always keep an eye on it because it's always different, depending on how much fruit you've got, obviously. Next, we pop it into our silicone moulds. I use silicone moulds because it's easy to get the quince paste out once it's set. It also makes a nice shape, these square moulds, and it goes well on a cheese board. Of course, you can use whatever moulds you like in whatever shape you like. I've made enough for 10 cheese boards, and all I need to do is let it sit at room temperature to cool down and set. Once the quince cheese is cooled down enough, I pop it into the fridge to continue setting and to completely cool down. And the reason I don't put it in straight away into the fridge is because it's so hot that I don't want to increase the temperature in the fridge. So I let it cool down so that we're not ruining other food that's in there. Once it's set, you pull the moulds away from the quince cheese and then it just pops out like that. I store my quince cheeses in this glass airproof container in the freezer. I have them so there's a gap between each one so that when I want one, when they're frozen in the freezer, I can easily remove one and then pop it on the cheese board, let it defrost, and then it's ready to use. And they will last over 12 months in here if I didn't eat them quicker, because there's no way they're going to last 12 months. You can also store them in the fridge as well, but they don't last as long. So that's okay if you're planning on using them all fairly quickly. When you do freeze them and you get them out to use, do make sure you defrost them properly. Just let them sit at room temperature. Don't be impatient, because you will be able to cut them before they're defrosted, and you can even eat them, but the flavour is really there once it's defrosted properly. So you may not be able to tell if it's frozen, because it's not like frozen meat or other things that you put in the freezer. This is my quince cheese ready for the freezer and ready to enjoy. I'll leave the recipe and instructions in the description below, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you found this content valuable and you'd like to learn more about small space homesteading, then click subscribe and make sure you hit the bell so YouTube updates you when a new video comes out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.